demon, what am I? It's time for me to choose my path. The power of my God hand, no evildoer will get past. Hand to hand or fist to fist, kick the nuts or twist your wrist. God power keeps my pimp hand strong, so trust me or you won't last very long. Dragon kick your ass into the Milky Way. Milky Way. Don't act like you don't like the Bulbasaur. Bulbasaur. My arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, the summon of the powers of the God hand. I lost a limb in a fight, but don't worry, babe, I'll be cool. The ultimate power of a god is now my secret tool. My defenses are impregnable. My style is impetuous. If it's too much, I'll grovel at your feet. I beg for mercy when I feel the heat. Jaw-dropping attacks from my roulette wheel. Apocalyptic beatdowns from the God hand. My arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, I summon up the powers of the God hand. Everybody wants a piece. Who's next? Don't be a fool. Hyperactive fighting style, so slick they will make you drool. The God hand helps me work out my stress. It's overpowering, I must confess. The only person who it doesn't work on is the girl who got me into this, Olivia. Slicing through thugs with my shockwave. Shockwave! More beheading than a guillotine. Head slicer. Head slicer! My arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, my arm, my arm. I summon up the powers of the God hand.
Hello, everybody. I am your Immortal Afro Josh. You are watching Immortal Afro Gaming, where we will make gaming for the boys again. Tell me if you've heard this before. Seem familiar? Scenes like these are happening all over the gaming industry right now. You will be next. So, as you guys can tell from the title, and if you've been keeping up with anything going on with Helldivers as of recently, and I know a lot of you were because I was. That was the last game I've been playing on streaming on here. And apologize for like I haven't been on for like a while. I've been sick, and I hardly ever get sick. I get sick like once every 2 or 3 years, and I guess this was like the second or third year, so I was pretty shitty. Didn't really want to talk much. Couldn't talk without hacking all over the place, so I didn't want to stream and say 2 words and spread COVIDs all over the damn place. If that's what I had. I don't know what I had, but it's gone now. So, Helldivers 2, the latest casualty of modern gaming. And let me get my banners up here. Another one bites the dust. Helldivers 2, current controversy thanks to shitty community managers, Sony, corporatism, idiocy, greed, all the usual. This is more of the same, nothing new. The reason why it hurts so much for most of us is because Helldivers was that diamond in the rough, that one really good game that just like that gave us spark. That it's like, wow, okay, gaming is at least on a modern sense, it's not dead. There's a lot of fun that could be had here. And the game was so much fun that we legitimately forgot how shitty modern gaming is. We were heralding it as the best AA experience, completely free of corporate bullshit, even with it being a live service game, it was still like, even if it actually convinced me that it is possible to make a good live service game. It is possible. It, every live service game we've seen up to this point has been shitty, riddled with either bugs, incomplete, microtransactions, some type of stupid thing that just kind of made the game not worth it. It's not worth buying, not worth getting into, whatever. But Helldivers was that one. And for 3 months, we were fooled. Hook, line, sinker, or whatever you want to call it. Gaseous Clay, what's going on, man? Everything forward will end up being compromised eventually. At least on the AAA market, or not AAA, but the modern gaming market, yeah. Because when it comes to Helldivers, I was having so much fun. I was talking to my friends about this. I was in Discord talking to someone. I was like, dude, I haven't had this much fun since like the sixth gen, and that was a generation where there was no online. It was just like it took me back to like the LAN party days, all that good stuff. Doing good, bro. How you doing? I'm doing a lot better. My disease has left my body. My antibodies have whooped its ass, whatever it was. I'm going to call it COVID because that just seems more. That'd be the first time I've gotten it, if that's what it was, since all this shit happened. Which means my immune system beating ass, if that's what it was. But so yeah, Helldivers 2, ton of fun, fantastic game. What could possibly ruin a game of that stature? Well, Sony, of course, one of the gaming giants, one of the fathers of gaming, of course, because as throughout the years, and this is one thing that uh, it doesn't surprise me with a lot of young gamers. They just don't understand how good things work. The Sony that they know is not the Sony that I know, because there's been a lot of discussion on X, Twitter, formerly known as Twitter, about how, oh man, stop complaining, just make it only takes 2 minutes, bro, just make a new account and you're good. You guys act like you don't like Sony. Why do you hate Sony? Well, I would allow you to be that ignorant if you are under 20 years old. If you're like 25 and older, fuck you, because you do know better. And if you don't, then you don't game. Not really. Gaming is just a side hobby for you, which again I would excuse that. If gaming is something you do on the side and it's not that big of a deal for you, and you got a lot of stuff going on in your life, and you just poke in every now and again, you can be forgiven for being ignorant about all the shit Sony has accumulated throughout their reputation throughout the past 15 years. And it's not just Sony; it's Microsoft, Nintendo, it's all of them. It's the big three. And this is kind of one of the reasons why I've come to the conclusion the only way gaming can be saved is if it's divorced. We can't have any attachment to the current industry as it is, because the whole thing is rotten. Indie is the only way to go. And it can't be indie supported by Sony, as we can see today. But just focusing on Sony. Josh, why don't you trust Sony? Because the Sony that you young bucks like so much, it's not the Sony I grew up with. If Sony was still like the way it was when I was coming up, no problem. I would have been like, sure, I still have my old account. Let me log back. I'd still be playing a Sony console right now, a recent Sony console. But the last Sony console that I bought and actually enjoyed and wish that I kept. I loaned it to a friend trying to be a nice guy, only for him to turn into a piece of shit. But I loaned it to a friend. It was the PlayStation 3. That was the last good Sony console. The best Sony console was the PlayStation 2 by light years. And this is not a debate. This isn't nothing to go like try to discuss about it. You either were alive and you know better, or you weren't. So when it comes to so the PlayStation 4 wasn't a bad system, but it wasn't good. And the PlayStation 5, that's hilarious. So, and it's like Gaseous Clay. This is why I always wait for the dust to settle. Yeah, I got tricked. Well, I didn't get tricked. I allowed myself to, because like the writing was on the wall, like mainly from the community managers, but I was like, we'll get to them in a minute. But when I was hearing stuff about them, I was like, man, fuck them. I ain't in that Discord shit. Last thing I wanted to hear is like from some woman who's a community manager. Surprise, surprise. That's another thing I got, to deal with problem with modern gaming. Billy Donuts, what's going on, man? PS3 was indeed the last decent console. Yeah, you still have hope for gaming. My condolences, my friend. I'll always have hope for gaming because a lot of times when people think they're getting like over gaming, that's not true. It's just that there are certain bad actors scattered throughout the entire industry going so hard in the paint, trying to make us hate it. And I'm like, that is impossible. I will never hate gaming. It is too integral to my life. And unfortunately for these retards, I've been alive long enough to understand what changed. So I can identify what the problem is instead of just being like, well, I guess I am growing out of games or games just aren't as good as they used to be. I know why they're not good. I can see you. But and nothing will ever top the PS2. The Magnum the best gaming again, sixth generation gaming peaked. Didn't even need internet to do it. But where was I? Oh yeah, old grumpy men like us remember how good things used to be. And the funny thing is, I mentioned this in a previous video a while ago, how we all as we get older, when we're younger, we're like, oh, our parents always like back in my day. It's completely valid, and it's valid for different reasons. And our story is gaming because these new kids are used to Fortnite and always online and never owning a game in their life or having to pay money to continue to play the game that they already have access to. They don't understand. That's why I don't fault the young generation. It's just ignorance. And if your first console was a PS3 at the end of its lifespan, you wouldn't know because my first console was a Sega Genesis. So I've seen the growth, but a lot of these young kids, their first console was connected to the internet. It was connected to all this shit. So they can't even fathom the idea that gaming is a thing that lasted and worked better then without internet than it does now. They were born into the rot, so they don't know any better. Yeah, so they're fine. If you're young, I I have no beef with you. I'm not annoyed that you like the PS4 or the PS3 more than the PS2 because you just don't know any better. And trust me, and I'm not just saying that just to be like, oh, you're young, stupid. No, if you follow, because the biggest thing that stops modern gamers from like younger gamers, I won't say modern, younger gamers from like understanding history is graphics and e what do you call it, like uh easy, or some of the more conveniences of modern game design. And some of it's good, a lot of it's bad, but some of it is good. So you're forgiven for not understanding the appeal of a game like fucking Ghost and Goblins, Ghouls and Goblins, you know, or The Lion King for the Sega Genesis. Those games that had, or the original Mega Man. So those games were difficult for a different reason. You guys are used to all the conveniences and ease of life, all these new things that streamline the process. But I'll go a few more of these. I've been playing games since the NES. I've seen the rise and the decline of every franchise I've ever cared about. Yep. N64 was Billy Donuts first. Yeah, and these are consoles that are integral. As we were coming up, they got better. It wasn't until seventh gen, and that is the gen that ruined everything. And I don't just blame the gen, but the technology was moving too fast, and we were distracted by certain elements of gaming rather than the games themselves. But just to get back on track, Helldivers. So Helldivers was, like I said, that diamond in the rough. It really showed people that, hey, it is possible for a good game on a massive scale to exist. And there are plenty of them. That's not to say that there are no other good games that come out. The biggest thing that we have to kind of like unlearn is not following the massive waves of big games that make a splash. The independent scene is literally sitting at the sixth gen era in terms of like technology and skill that most independent studios have. A lot of independent games that are coming out in the recent years are at the level of 6th gen, but slightly more polished, more intuitive, with technologies being used in the ways that we would have expected it under that same mindset back in the day. But let's go over some of the things that went wrong with diving in hell. Community managers. Now, this isn't something that I've personally dealt with because I don't join the discords of games that I play. I play with my friends. I don't really see any reason, but that's an appeal that is there. Fine, whatever. But the problem with community managers, and part of I'm going to get flack for this, and I don't care because I'm pretty sure it's intrinsic to why shit always falls apart the way it does. Women, it's every time because every time I hear about some of these community managers, they are always led by women. And I'm sorry to say it, but when it comes to gaming, it is just not an environment that is inclusive to women. Not all of them. There's a very small minority of them that can deal with it, but the majority can't. And when you grow a a hobby like this to this scale, you start to try to care about things that really come at a cost to you. So, and we see this all over the place. This is like it's either women or really passive pussy ass men who are they check off all the boxes. And so I don't have any screenshots up, but I may go back and make a regular video out of this. I am going to make a regular video, but I may clip this. But there are some community managers name. I think one of them Bell something and Spitz, and they say all the usual things you'd expect from modern community managers who hate gamers, but for some reason choose to work in the gaming field, which I just don't understand why this trend is so common. I I know, but just for the sake of this, like live, this is I just got off work and I'm just kind of winging it. It's so common. Every single game has to have a community manager, mommy, whose whole purpose is to be a bisexual, weirdo, gay loving schizophrenic with flags and pronouns in their bios. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't necessarily associate community managers with the team that's responsible for the game's development, but I kind of have to because who puts them there? Why are they always the same type of person? It's always some person who wanted to be a journalist in real journalism land, couldn't hack it, and so they just became a games journalist where they cope and seethe endlessly about how much they hate gamers, but this is the only job they could get, I guess. And I'm thinking to myself, I was like, man, what is the prerequisite for being a community manager for a game? Is it to be all these things? 'Cause it's like the same. They're always the same people. They got to be hiring from inside. Because I can imagine if, let's say, if there was like a hiring board, like, oh, be a community manager for Helldivers, and this game is about this, and I'm already into it. I would love to be a community manager for Helldivers. Starting up every day, welcome to Helldivers, soldiers, blah blah blah. Really get into it, have fun, but they pick the most unfun, shitty people, and they're all horrible. They're all tone deaf. They don't care about the people playing the game. Yet their job is to manage the whole community. I don't I can never figure that out. They hate us, but they want our money all the same. And like normally, I would be fine with that because money is supposed to be the place people go where everyone's like, hey, I may not like you, but in order to maintain a diplomacy and for you to get what you want and me to get what I want, hey, I can hate you all day, but you'll never know. As long as you give me money, we're best friends. But these people just can't. They can't do it. They have to let a little bit of their true intentions sneak out. But that's easy. To be a community manager, you need to give good blowies. Well, that's true. I forgot all about Zoe Quinn. Man, yeah, yeah, that's that makes sense. Lady Justice, what's up, man? I grew up on PC only. Yeah, see, like when most of us grew up on consoles. Jannies are usually the worst. These people are incapable of acting professional, which is one of the reasons why gaming is never taken seriously. And you could go back throughout all the history of gaming. As soon as we started blowing up, you had your pastors and religious types going at gaming. They didn't know shit about it. You had your freaking soccer moms whining about gaming. They didn't know anything about it. And just like in my video where I was talking about gaming should be for the boys, it's the same type of people, except now they're inside the industry and they're everywhere. Doing good, having a great visit with Gaseous. All right, yeah, it's still up there. Glad you guys are enjoying each other. Safe travels and safe time together. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But and so so that's the other part of it. And this is the other half of it. Like I understand that this doesn't apply to all console gamers, but it is typically a console gamer mentality that just doesn't go away, mainly because of brand loyalty. So right here, console players, they just don't get it. And the funny thing about this is, back when I was a console player, I also had this mentality, and I could see how easy it is to fall into it. What I don't understand is still falling into it today when all the consoles out, minus the Nintendo Switch, are basically PCs. They're try hard PCs. So it's like, can you really still be talking shit when your console has been dying to be PC like since seventh gen? And it's funny how like way back in the day, the explanations for like like the arguments about frame rates and graphics didn't matter for console because they weren't powerful enough for it to matter. We just had games that PCs didn't get. But as soon as consoles started getting more RAM and uh better graphics APUs or video cards or whatever you want to call it, then all of a sudden they start sounding like PC gamers. Because back in my day, PC gaming, like back in 2012 when I not 2012, 2014 when I first got into PC gaming, that's when I started learning things about CPUs and the roles that they play in game design or game performance, RAM. Back when RAM was the thing you needed the most before video or graphics cards took up the chunk of the performance needed, and what type of graphics card you get. You're gonna go with NVIDIA and use the Jet Force stuff, the PhysX stuff, or you're gonna go with AMD. Is cheaper, runs a little bit hotter, but there was a whole discussion there. The line between console and PC has all but vanished. Yes, and so despite how much more PCified consoles have become, the console mentality remains seemingly stronger than ever. Which I honestly don't believe. I think a lot of these console players now are just bots, or uh, people that like, because Sony has made so much money. Same thing with Microsoft. They've made so much money. I think they pay these people. They pay them to go out here and just shill endlessly for their brand, because now I say they're bots because they all say the same thing. At least back in the day, console uh fanboys, they had their own unique delusional perspective. Back with the Black Bond and the Blackbuster Critic days, where these guys were just like endlessly talking about none of the stuff they made sense, but you could see like this guy really believes that. Now they all say the same thing. I've on Twitter, every other thread I'm involved with. It just takes 2 minutes to make an account. You don't have 120 seconds. Like, uh, why are you guys so upset that I want to leave? No, you guys are the same ones that bitch. Like as soon as PC gets a PS4 game, you're like, ha ha, sloppy seconds, fuck off. You don't even get to play the new games. I'm like, well, whatever. PC gamers are the kings of waiting. We would rather wait for a better game, even though a lot of these games never fucking work. But that aside, we'll wait for a better experience. But now that Helldivers has brought so much more appeal to the PlayStation platform with this, it's made by PlayStation, which I gave them props. But now they want to force their console mindset onto the PC platform, and the PC platform has suffered greatly in the past 10 years because of Windows. That's another thing, but the consolification of the PC platform, which is an open platform, and that's another thing that we have to get into because the more the more that these companies grew, the more greedy they become. They couldn't just be happy in their own little third party avenue, or in the case of consoles, they couldn't just be happy over there with their console and their games. Microsoft shut the bed infinitely to the point where I don't even think the Xbox was ever meant to like really compete, because if that was any other company, they would have tanked years ago. But because Microsoft has infinite money, they were just like, well, the Xbox is really just a Trojan horse, to be honest. We're just trying to like increase our influence in this console market since it's growing. The PlayStation 2 and the PlayStation 1 was a big deal, and we got all this money. So we're just gonna brute force our way in, even though if this was any other console, the Xbox would have died. Like whatever. But that's a whole nother conversation. But I grew up playing games on MS DOS. Need to find a good DOS simulator for Linux so I can finally finish up Jill of the Jungle. I think you're forgetting about the people who wasted their money on a console just to play COD. Insert sports game here. Yep. Bingo. Console peasants are just coping with the fact they can't afford a PC. And that's exactly what Microsoft did. Yeah, exactly. But here's the funny thing about PC, Lady Justice. PCs are very affordable. And we've been saying this forever. But no one listens to the PC guy because we're so elitist. And yeah, we are for the memes. Back when memes were like funny surrounding it, but now that everyone has a PC like console, like yeah, so you got money for a $500-$600 console, but not a $400 PC. Whatever. The problem is that there is a skill issue when it comes to PC. You just don't buy one. But because PCs have become so what's the word, inclusive, that a lot of console players do have PCs now. And the reason why a lot of the appeal on the PC platform has waned, because that mindset comes with them. And we're gonna get into the thing with Linux, because I'm not gonna lie, man. I don't want them over here because I understand we want to grow, but every time growth becomes like a priority, we it comes at the cost of what makes us us, because we're so focused on getting more people in here, we don't put up a barrier for entry to show that they deserve to stay here. So uh, consoles are ridiculously expensive. You can get a pre-built PC for the same for cost as a PS5 with the benefits of it being a PC. Exactly. Linux master race for life. And I'm like, dude, I'm starting to get like this attitude where I just want to defend Linux. I don't want these people over here. I don't want Linux to get easier, because the easier Linux gets, the lower the bar barrier for entry, the more brain dead you're allowed to be when you get here. And it's just like that's how I felt about PC when I first moved to PC. I was like, man, I actually have to learn shit in order to justify my time being here. Let me learn about a CPU. What does the RAM do? Why is the motherboard so important? What do you mean I need a little bit more a higher headroom power supply in order for my thing to work? I need to pay attention to voltage. That's important. Airflow. What's the difference between airflow and liquid cool? These are all things that you need to know, instead of making it so brain dead easy for anyone to just walk up in here and then complain once they arrive. Like, oh, this isn't easy enough. It's not supposed to be. If you want easy, go get a console and just stay over there. But the consoles suck. Oh my god. but and so when we're talking about why don't the PlayStation guys understand why the PC guys don't want to make an account? Because for the longest time, because of fuckers like them, PC has been constantly under siege. First, we didn't matter. First, nothing. First, the PC market was irrelevant. There was no point in trying to appease us. But since your consoles got so shitty, you decided the only way you can make money is to finally come over and give the PC guys what you've been neglecting us for so long, even though we didn't need it. I was like, we could just go get a console, but hey, we'll take it. Of course, that was your Trojan horse. Yeah, we'll give you these console games if you sign into this launcher. I don't know who did it first, but I think it was either Ubisoft or EA. And a lot of the discussions that I've been seeing on Twitter, where these guys are like, "So you guys will buy all, you'll do all that stuff, but you ain't got a problem with it. But you got a problem with PS4. Xbox can do it, but PlayStation can't. Ubisoft can do it, but PlayStation can't." First of all, you weren't there when they did it. We also didn't like it. We didn't like it when Ubisoft made Uplay. We didn't like it when EA made Origin. We didn't like it when Rockstar made the Rockstar launcher. We didn't like it when Epic did the Epic launcher. We hated all of it. You want to know why? Because PC is an open platform. Unfortunately for you, Steam just beat you to the punch. It sucks. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't compete with Steam, but the problem is you're not competing. You're just trying to section off your little part of this by making a worse product that doesn't really ever compete with Steam. I made videos about the Epic Game Store when it first came out, and all these fuckers were doing was just signing deals and sucking up as many games as they want, Shenmue 3, so that Steam just couldn't have it. So I'm like, okay, so you're not even really competing. You're just out here taking what you can and then building the launcher later. Launcher sucks, by the way. At the time, didn't even have a cart. None of this shit worked. And it's just like, look, I don't have a problem with you guys making a launcher. Just make it something I'm willing to play. Is it better than Steam? What does it offer that Steam doesn't offer? Jack shit. It's just a walled garden for your games. That's it. Just like when Microsoft tried to do it, when Windows 10 first came out, they were like, "We're going to do the Windows Store. Come over here to Windows." None of us got on board. What do they end up doing? Releasing their games on Steam. Why? Because they. I would say they suck, but they don't suck. They just had ulterior motives, and we were just like, "No, thank you." Same thing with Ubisoft. And some of that stuff we were tricked because once we started seeing those games pop up on Steam, we were like, all right, cool, download the game, and and part of it is like, oh, we didn't read it because we just assumed like if it's on Steam, and this is and now the quality of Steam starts to drop, which I kind of wish they just didn't do it. But the problem was if Steam just said no, these companies would have just tried to they would have done something else. And slowly over time, because Gabe Newell is only one guy, he can't resist all this bullshit forever. But okay, I'm kind of hopping all over the place. I'm gonna catch up with some of these. Uh, hold on. Console peasants can hang out on Linux Mint, and we can hang out with Arch. Yeah, dude, I don't want him. I don't want him on any of them, to be honest, because like the and I know it's not my call, and I don't like saying that, but at the same time, it's just like, dude, these people are so lazy. I don't like lazy people. I hate it when I'm lazy because when I'm lazy, I don't do anything, and nothing gets done. And then I wake up later, I'm like, oh man, I'm such a. You're supposed to feel like shit when you're lazy. That's why Linux was such a fulfilling experience. When I fucked up my install 3 times, I was just like, and this is after I moved all my stuff off my Windows PC. So I was like, if I don't figure this out, I'm not playing games anymore, and I want to play my games. So that was like the kick to get into it, and the more I broke stuff, the more I learned, and it was a rewarding experience. Become a little less stupid and understand the value of self-service instead of constantly expecting someone to come and save your ass, like what consoles players do. PlayStation coughs. Oh, Sony service, help me! Something happened. I can't go in there. I'll void the warranty. Okay. Yeah, I got a pre-built PC for $500 US dollars, able to run most games and not choke. Yeah, and then you can affect it yourself. You see, the problem with convenience is that it costs more and you lose your rights. And there's a whole thing with that. Sony wants people to make PSN accounts for Helldivers so they can ban gamers without involving Valve when people say gamer words. Yeah, just to kind of go back, they don't get it. Console players are so whipped and controlled. You guys are slaves. You guys don't know what freedom is. You guys shiver at the thought, huh? Personal responsibility. I can do what I want. No, put me back in my crib, my PlayStation crib, my Nintendo crib, my Xbox crib. The world's scary out there. PC guys are like, yeah, fuck it. I'll do what I want. I'm a grown ass man. I bought this thing. You don't just get to ban me because you feel some type of way. Of course, there are rules, and then that leading on to how the internet is becoming more and more bitch made to the point to where you're not allowed to do or say anything unless you're just too small for them to catch you. But as soon as you catch, or as soon as you get like 20,000 subs, now you got to be careful saying nigger. But the last Windows I used was 7. Last Windows I liked was XP. Yeah, and just like I played when I started playing PC gaming or PC games, like the first PC game I ever played, I believe was Tomb Raider: The Last Revolution, and it was on my parents' computers way back in the day. And of course, I didn't really realize it was gaming on PC because me and my brothers we had consoles at the time. I just figured this was something that could just also work on the PC. I view the PC as more of like a business thing that just so happened to play video games. So, and my parents didn't let me play games that much, so a lot of that just went over my head. I didn't understand PC gaming until my friend Cross got me into it, and he helped me build my first computer. But let's see, come a long way already. Yep, it's important to understand how your technology works. You own your technology. That's the other thing that console gamers don't get. They don't own their system. They used to, but they sacrificed all that when they bought into the whole digital future. And that's the other part about this that they don't get. Digital doesn't mean ownership. You guys have completely waived that shit. With PC, it kind of made sense that we didn't really do much with physical because of how much control we had. It's like we get our games cheaper and they run better and we have access to the files and we could do this and we could do that, and there were ways for us to get the game cheaper. I didn't mind console games being more expensive because we got a whole lot more. Yeah, I may not be able to change the I files in the game, but I got the book, I got the disc, I got the case, and if I wanted to make some money I could sell it back on the market. Can't do that with no digital code, PC plebs. Fair exchange. But now that consoles are PCs, you guys don't even get that. And here you come over here trying to push more of your gay shit. Sony might be the worst company involved in gaming now, no small feat. Yeah, when Microsoft exists. It's like, geez, like it's like they're constantly trying to one up each other. Like, how much worse can we make gaming? And gaming was flawless in 6th gen. This is why I say a divorce is required. It's necessary. Gaming cannot continue to go on like this. There are too many walls. There are too many obstacles. There are too many people wagging their fingers in your face saying you're not allowed to do that. You can't say this word. We'll ban your account. You can't teabag anybody. We'll ban you. We'll kick you. We'll do this. It's like, oh man, can I just play my fucking game? No, we need to install this antivirus on your, or not antivirus. This anti cheat on your system that doesn't stop anyone from cheating. We have to constantly check into your account every few hours. Man, this junk keeps sliding off my head. $70 for a digital license that can be revoked at any time is insane. And once again, console players just don't get it. Like, and their mind is so A B, and then they they can't wrap their mind around it. They just don't understand. Just make an account. It's like, bro, that's why you don't even waste your time talking to these people. They don't get it. It's like, and what's funny is how much energy they spend bitching at us for wanting to leave. Look, you should be like, well, bye, go get out of here, you freaking PC plebs. Even though you guys are literally the backbone of this game's life right now. What was that, 45 or 450,000 players at launch? You're welcome. And all Sony, and you gotta love their excuse, lying through their ass once again. This is for the safety of shut up. As many times as you've been hacked aside, I'm not even gonna use that because that's too easy. Let's just move that to the side. It's not about security. Again, console people will buy that because they're idiots. They don't know anything about security on their system. PC players, however, I have control over that. more so than the console people. So how can an account protect me? Hell, I need protection from you. I don't want I don't want you to have any control over what I'm able to do here. That's why. That's the reason, console fanboys. I don't need a nanny telling me what I can and can't do on a game that I bought. You will own nothing and be happy. Eat the bugs. Anti-cheat is an instant deal breaker. Yeah, and the thing is, it's like with the anti-cheat, because like I have my Windows system, and I was playing Helldivers on there first, and of course, it took me a while to get. I was like, man, I don't know, man, anti-cheat, but and the thing that really helped was Arrowhead. They were like, hey, we updated the game to where the anti-cheat does not run separate from the game. Because shit that runs on Valorant, I think Battle in the Eye and stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'm really enjoying this game on my Windows machine. Fuck it. I will lower that guard. Never again. Because every time I like, this the game is so much fun, and then they burn me. I'm just like, yeah, there it is. I, you guys never fail to convince me. Let's see. The whole anti-cheat shit goes Bucker all to prevent cheating. Yeah, because I was seeing people do the same shit as always. Well, we're doing it so we can ban them. Like, yeah, those are going to be the people you ban, not the people who use the gamer word, not the people who quotation marks harass. And we have no idea to understand like to what degree is harassment allowed. And I'm like, you shouldn't. It's none of your damn business. Make an account. Why? I bought the damn game already, and it works. I don't need an account. The game works. Sony can't even protect themselves. Exactly. No fun allowed. So it's not surprising when I hear all of these console fanboys constantly try and the reason why they're so anal about it is because they don't want us to leave. They please stay, you guys. Come on, man. We need the numbers. We Galactic War, guys. It's like no, we're past that. Eh, See the difference between PC gamers and console gamers. One of us pays attention to shit. One of us cares about how we're treated. We're not cool with being involved in this abusive relationship where a company just does whatever they want to us and we have no way of fighting back. Can you guys even get a refund on Sony games? The last high profile example I saw of that was Cyberpunk. And the only reason you guys got refunds on that is because of how far they were trying to fuck you to the point to where other people were like, yo, like we had to come down and say, this is not right. Demand a refund. Stop letting them get away with this. They sold you a game that don't work. Like what how much more do we have to show you before you realize you're being taken advantage of? There are community posts circulating on how to demand a refund from Steam. And this is something that Steam users, PC players have always done. Steam was the first place to do refunds and actually build something around that. Oh, okay, you can have the game for up to 14 days, play it for 2 hours. 2 hours is plenty of time to see if the game is worth a damn or not, especially if it has bad performance or it's not what you were expecting. The problem with it now is that system is outdated. That system works for games that are released and not touched ever again. Now, every game that releases requires bug fixes and patches months past release, which completely destroys any hope of refunding. So, just like my video about Monster Hunter, it's like can't play this game because y'all did something. If we would have known that you fiddling with the game at random points in the future was gonna affect my ability to play the game, do you really think we'd buy any of these games? No. But this is modern gaming. This is why I say modern gaming is a death march. Because if this is the way games are supposed to be handled moving forward, what protection does the consumer have? When they do something like this, do something literally stops you from being able to play the game after you put in 100 hours if you like it. Joke's on you. You shouldn't have liked it so much, idiot. How dare you play the game? So now, and I'm kind of glad this happened because this is something Steam has to change. Look, the 2 hours, 14 days shit is over. You can't. That's not valid anymore because there we have no protection. We have nothing. They take our money, change the game, and then we're fucked. And now we got to sit here and spam the refund system just to get stuff back. It's time to update it, Steam. I'm sorry. If you're gonna keep allowing these other publishers to sell games on your storefront, you're gonna have to do something a little bit different, man. I'm sorry, Gabe. Like you allowed them onto your storefront, and now you're called the crossfire. It sucks. I should. I'm sorry because this is bullshit. But let's see. My biggest gripe is how unoptimized games are these days. Recently got NK11. It's 100 gigabytes. Ouch. Yeah. Posted a few related things in my Discord. All right. And that's the other thing. Like it's just the way modern gaming is set up. It's a lose lose for the customer. And by the time the game actually works, it wouldn't have been worth downloading. It's like you might as well not even have a launch. Because if the game ain't gonna be worth a damn until a year from now, Dragon's Dogma 2, any game that's come out, Resident Evil, which one is not six? What was it the one with the guy? Yeah, Village, Resident Evil Village with the whole DRM thing, exclusive to PC. Like, dude, like, don't even bother releasing it on PC if none of these games are gonna fucking work. Publishers are intentionally gimping games on release because they're trying to fight piracy, and all it hurts the same people it's always hurt, people who pay money, which of course encourages further piracy. Like, we're fixing the problem by attacking the wrong group of people. So console players just don't get it. You guys don't get it. And I don't think you ever will because you guys have this weird obsession with following brands. You trust Microsoft in an unhealthy fashion. You think Sony is just the best thing ever. You think Nintendo loves you. There's a video I'm going to repost. I made it years ago called Games or Gaming. And watching that video again, that's probably the best video I've ever made on this channel. Whenever it comes to gaming, because it's so true. People put so much stock into games rather than the actual hobby of gaming itself. We care so much about this franchise, and then the franchise turns into dog shit. But we loved it so much. How could this have happened? Fanboys are the absolute worst. Yeah, because it's like you have no expectations, you have no standards. You're just grateful that it exists, and it's just like no wonder everything's turning into shit. And there are so many of you. This is the part that burns me up. There's so many of you that is starting to affect us. And when something good does come along, like these people are so used to abusing the hell out of you, and they've completely toxified their environment. It's literally Fallout over there on the PlayStation, and so they ain't making enough money over there anymore. So they gotta come to PC, and it's like it's sad. It's like, dude, if I had known this was gonna be the case, stay the fuck over there. So, sure. Why PC players aren't willing to kind of already went over that. The only way forward, there's a reason why I keep specifying sixth generation as the best gaming has ever been. Because the limitation, and this is a video I should have made a long time ago, a video called like the value of limitations. When we unlocked the limiter, we allowed all this stuff to come through. Now the thing people look forward to the most is the graphics. Oh man, look at all these graphics. They look so real. The fucking Unreal nanite technology and the photorealistic bullshit. And all these games run like horseshit when they come out because we put so much money wasting all this stuff on engines that run walking simulators that still don't even that still have shit performance. Meanwhile, over here in Indie land, the Great Rebellion, Go Mecha Ball, they work like I don't even know if those games have gotten updates since they came out. And I'm like, and now I'm sitting here, look at me. I'm the idiot for getting excited over a game that falling under the double A moniker because it's easy to just walk away from triple A. But I forgot that consoles manufacturers like Sony are so they're so entrenched, and it's so sad because it's the same thing that happened to Mass Effect way back in the day. I think the first Mass Effect was really was their own project by not Bungie, but what's the Mass Effect team? I can't think of the freaking name. But the guys who BioWare, jeez. So the first Mass Effect was their baby, and then they signed a contract with EA, and it all went downhill from there. And we see this happen over and over and over. And I couldn't forgive them back then, but now it's like, dude, if you're an up and coming indie studio, you just have to say no. If you get a call from PlayStation, Sony's talking about, hey, we'll back your project and blah blah blah. Like with Shimu, we'll back your project and help you, and then the game is trash because they don't care about games. They don't care about none of this stuff. They just want in on it. So if by any chance it blows up and it's fantastic, they can come in and like, well, since we gave you all that money up front, it's time for you to bend over. Time to pay your dues. We own you. And I was looking at the video by Arrowhead where they were talking about, yeah, Sony is we have a fantastic partnership with Sony, but we largely do our own thing. That was a lie. And of course, I understood that. I knew that at the time, but I was just like, I was too busy having fun. I was like, man, these guys are great. The updates are great. War bonds are fun. The missions are nice, and the missions are already fun. And the more stuff that they change over time, it's only going to get better. And I should have listened to Cross. He was like, man, anytime a game gets that popular, it's a problem. Shouldn't be that way, but this is modern gaming. This is the way it is now. So if a game does extremely well, wait a year. It makes no sense to buy anything that's like tied to a massive publisher and doing really well. It's a trap. 100% of the time. The only games that you can trust are the ones who aren't associated. The Great Rebellion, you'll never hear them dealing with this ever. It's just them out there. And the guy and Roland, he's just like, yeah, man, yeah, we fix the game on our own time, and if anything goes wrong, it's on us. That's why this game works. We love this game. We put in the time and the effort because we care about the game. So we don't have this huge bag of money to fall back on when we ultimately make a mistake or do a decision that's just going to ruin it for everybody. Caveman Jay, what's going on, man? Yeah, the game's dead. And just like Tekken, same thing with Tekken. And it's like, what was I saying? Yeah, the Great Rebellion. It's like the best games are the ones that do not have any type of corporate backing because they have more to lose. That's why their games are better. They love this project so much. They put in the time, they put in the effort, and they are not going to allow anyone to veer them off course because, like, hey, it's just us. And that is the way forward. That's the way games got to be made by now, right now, because unfortunately, there's too much money in gaming. It's too much. It's infinite money. Just like I said in my last video, infinite money where these people can afford to your game could be dead. That's why I don't think anything's going to change for Helldivers because the amount of money like that Sony has probably given Arrowhead, it's like, look, they don't even care if the game is being played. Some of the people there who worked on the game probably do care because they put their heart, sweat, and tears into it. But all of it will be for nothing because technically your game, the game probably whatever amount of money that Sony gave Arrowhead in order to have this partnership or deal, probably completely. outpaced any amount of money that we could have possibly given them buying the game. That's why these people have no problem saying the shit they say. That's why the community managers are all cunts because they're just like, look, I got paid, we got paid, we don't care. It's all just a numbers game. Gaming is just a numbers game for them. That's why none of these people play games. None of these CEOs are gamers. The only gamers that are gamers who make games are independents, like where it's just them. Hey, I thought this would be a pretty cool game to make. I like titties, so I made this game. Well, I like shooting people, so this is the game I made. Postal, fucking King. What's that? What's that? My daily life with succubus, whatever. Like H games. Those games will never be financed by anyone else, except they're just like, well, I'm just hoarding enough to make it. I love those games because I know those games are made by people who are just like, look, dude, I wanted this game to exist, so I made it. That's the kind of game that I wanted to put out there, and only on the PC, the open platform, would this game even be allowed to exist. You think that shit's ever going to be on a Sony console? Nope. Microsoft? Nope. We have all these arbitrary rules and boundaries. You can't make that over here. We're trying to appeal to the lowest common denominator. We can't do that. It's like limited. You can't do this. You can't do that. Creativity dies when it comes to the mainstream. But just to kind of pull this back to Helldivers, it's unfortunate because, like I said, I've been alive long enough to see the highest of highs for gaming. And now we're at the lowest of low. A game can't even make it they can't even make it 6 months before dying. Helldivers was supposed, if you just take a step back and look at Helldivers for what it is, that looks like a game that would be played for years. The prime example of a live service game done right, except it came out in 2024. Oops. But yeah, it's just like, this is why it can't work. First of all, there's too much money in the gaming industry. There's too much money that could just be thrown around willy nilly, and as long as people get paid, they could give a fuck what happens to the game or the people who end up falling in love with the game, who wants to build content around it, build a community, all this great stuff that's supposed to like breathe more life and all this great stuff can't have it because communists run the industry and they care more about ruining everyone's good time so they can enforce this. Every community manager is a freaking despot. All of them. And it's like these are like games like Great Billion. I don't need a community manager. What do you need a community manager for this game for? Just play it and enjoy it. Make some content if you want. We don't care. We're not about to sit here and be all up in your face like, what you doing? I hope you're streaming that game and not saying any curse words. Go make a ball. Like, I hope you're not rolling that ball in a way that's suggestive. We'll have to ban you. It's like, yeah, you guys don't have the capacity to ban because you never cared about trying to build that up in the first place. Like I said, man, 6th gen, it was free for all. Just make your game and play it. And then the Sony patent. I almost forgot about that. These folks over here trying to measure your heart rate to see if you're picking on people. Like, and once again, console players just don't get it. They have no idea what a Sony patent is. They've been playing PlayStation forever and have no idea what these people are doing behind the scenes. Impressive. It's like, how do you not know? I thought you loved Sony. Every time they announce something, you're like, oh yeah, Sony. It's like they can never do no wrong to you. No, nothing. Well, I guess not. They've been shitting on you for this long, and you still have the gall to pay them to do it. It's like, and that was the original reason why PC has always been better. I already pay for internet. I'm not about to pay these people more to access the internet connection that I already pay for. Now, PlayStation Plus, yeah, give us money so that we can ban you for being yourself. Like, we'll take your money though, like, bruh. Console, it's like, this is why you guys constantly get shit from the PC guys. And that's not to say the PC guys are perfect. A lot of, just like in Blackbuster's video, a lot of us have failed. by giving in to the Epic Game Store in its terrible state. I understand giving it a chance, but it's like you can't shill for them. It's like the fact that there are so many, like, the PC is supposed to be the open platform, and it's becoming more and more and more closed as more and more of these publishers try to carve out their rule set within an open platform. That's like the biggest sin of it all. The fact that they got this far doing that shit. PC gaming, the gaming space has waned significantly because of that. Because that consolitis mindset, and these guys, they just want to have they can't fathom not having control over the people that they just make games for. Dude, if you just make the game for it and give me the money, that's it. I shouldn't have to sign into your network just so you can, monitor all my keystrokes and shit with your telemetry. Jeez Louise. Yeah. But that's my rant for when it comes to Helldivers. I'm gonna keep trying to get a refund because all right, here are the things. All right. Here's the question: what would Helldivers have to do in order for me to keep playing the game? In order for me to be like, you know what, they've cleaned up so much, I'll continue supporting the game. What would they have to do? Well, first of all, fire every community manager. Just nuke them from orbit. Why do these people make money in these positions? I'm assuming they get paid. They shouldn't be there. These are the worst type of people, and all they do is mar the goodwill that they, of course, didn't earn. So they're just shitting on the developers. They are helping nobody. Why you need community managers for the game? Let the players create their own communities. Who the fuck needs community anyway? Fire all the community managers. Second, uh, of course, fuck the PlayStation, whatever. Let the PlayStation guys log into their PlayStation shit. We're fine with Steam. We trust Steam. Steam's not perfect, but Steam was here first. And no, I don't want to log into my PlayStation account. The game already works. What else after that? I would say drop the anti cheat. That's never gonna happen. But what they did originally with the anti cheat was better, so I'll let that slide. But I think that's about it. Just do those two things. Kill the community manager's influence. Why they're there, I'll never understand. And stop pushing. Sony, I'm sorry you guys are late to the party. I'm sorry you guys weren't like Microsoft, where you have the idea to, like, where they tried it and failed and had to circle back. Because, like, the biggest advantage that Microsoft has over a lot of these other launchers is that they're already native to PC. My Xbox account or my Xbox Live account is my Microsoft account, and it was seamless. And Microsoft has been doing shit with computers forever. So, that's just one of those things where, like, sorry, it just wasn't you. Oh well, just take the L, dude. It's like, sorry, not sorry. You just weren't first. And if you really wanted it that bad, you should have done it from day one. There would have been still plenty of PC guys who still did it. I probably wouldn't have done it because I was just like, well, I mean, I just don't want a PlayStation 5, dude. And I don't want, and because I moved to Linux, that is one more reason why I don't want to have to log into something else. I like Steam because they support Linux natively. That's been an expectation that I've kind of developed since playing on this platform. If your game don't work on Linux, I don't want it. It's like, fuck it. Said Torshi, see, Sony can't even bother to add PSN support in countries that they sell a lot of their shit to for years. And yet another thing, it's like, Sony, you guys aren't even prepared to do the thing you claim you want to do. How you're not even accessible and all, so you take all these people money and you really thought you could just flip the switch like that? Oh, okay, we'll just be able to play like and get all the money. Like, no, that's why it was never a thing about security. You just wanted to boost your numbers, and you couldn't even do that right. It's like, dude, again, Steam. Yes, Linux Legion, Endeavor, Arch, Debian. It's like, look, Fedora, not Red Hat though. But it's this is why people like Steam. I'm sorry, sorry, not sorry. you know, like when it like I'm sorry, PlayStation, you guys just aren't there yet. I'm sorry. Just be a console company that releases your games on PC. And if you're not making the numbers you need on the console, that means you're doing something wrong. You're not like Nintendo. Nintendo could give a fuck about any of the other games being on PC. They're just like, you're just not gonna get them. The only way you're gonna get our games is if you steal them. That's the only way you're getting a Nintendo game on another console. And I respect that. They're allowed to do that. I don't mind when they go after people. I'm like, hey, your whatever. It sucks when it comes to game preservation, which I agree with. Game preservation is the most important thing. But like for the current games, Nintendo's allowed to do that. If you cared about doing it, you would have did it sooner. But they're within their right. Like that's where the conversation really just stops there. But for Sony and Microsoft, it's got the quality of your consoles have dipped so much. You need us. That's why you're selling your shit on the PC market. Because apparently there aren't enough drones to suck up whatever you're making. Because a lot of us people who came to the PC market used to be console players, and two were just like, man, I'm tired of getting fucked in the ass. The Xbox One was really like the deal breaker. It's like, what do you mean? I gotta have a camera and microphone on me at all times. Used games are bad now. I might as well just get a PC. So it's like you did this. So don't sit here and nuke your playground and then come over to us trying the same shit and then being surprised when we're just like no. And you got your Sony drone army after there. It just takes all saying the same thing. It just takes 2 minutes. Why are you complaining? It's not a big deal. It's like, of course it's not to you. You don't think. You don't have a brain. Like, if you understood the value of freedom, maybe you would. It would take you a little bit longer before you come to that conclusion. You'd be like, well, maybe there's a reason why these guys are so upset. What do they know that I don't? But whatever. Like I said, gaming heals when like things just have to go back to the way they were. And I know people don't like to hear that. Like this whole thing of, oh, we can all be inclusive, we can all be friends. No, clearly we cannot, because if you're gonna come to another area, you have to abide by the rules of that area. We will gladly give you money for your games, but that's all we want from you. We don't want your platform rules. We don't want your login stats and we don't care about none of that shit. Just give us the games, and that's fair enough. That's all you need from us, really, is money. Hey, what's up, Dandelion? Yes, sir. Preach, preach. We in here. But yeah, exactly. Like we don't. We give you money, you give us game, and we're cool. But you guys are too greedy. You got that communist mindset where it's just not enough. You have to try to come in and tell us what to do. It's like, no, dude. You have your own network to do that over. You got your own slave army. They'll do everything you say. They won't question a thing. They don't even ask for a refund. Why you gotta come over here and do that? Uh, this is why things were separate. Like, hey, the PC gamers are over here on the PC, and if okay, we just won't get that game. And if we want it that bad, we'll get a PlayStation or pirate it. But hey, if you want, there's plenty you could do. Just well, whatever. I'm sitting over here talking stuff that makes perfect sense, but I forgot we're in a world where nothing makes sense. But yeah, so that's the state of Helldivers. Nice and dead. So, but hey, this is a very important lesson to learn. Don't buy anything that's associated with the big three. because they're just going to disappoint you. And for those of you who are thinking, what did Nintendo do? Well, I mean, once again, if if there's a company that you follow that falls under anything that buys DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, cares about women's rights or whatever in gaming, anything remotely orbiting that, drop them, because all that comes with that is their desire to control every aspect about what you do. Just like when Stella Blade came out, the folks were bitching about that because she's attractive. Wow, and all these people in the gaming industry who hate gamers, hate men. How dare you guys have fun? I can't believe you guys have the audacity to have fun. Like, oh, how dare you come here working in an industry full of people you just despise? Like, what the fuck? What did we do to you? We're over here fucking off, and you guys just can't stand it. It's like, dude, like you told me, you guys are so hate filled and hate, 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 hate. Like, no, we only hate you because you guys don't know how to stay in your lane. What? You want to make a game with pretty women? Oh, you're a sexist, misogynist, bigot, blah 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 blah. Like, just like in the FGC, I was looking at it was a video for a button check where these guys complaining we need more female represent. Open that door and see what happens. See, like they like I'm gonna make a snippet of it from one of my previous videos. Look, man, gaming's just not a girl thing. I'm sorry. It just isn't. There may be some games that appeal to some women, but it'll never be enough to justify fucking over the entire industry just so that these women, just so women can feel included. Like, look, back when gaming was at its worst, according to these people, there are plenty of women in here having a good old time because they genuinely cared about gaming and they didn't need anything to change. But as soon as it became uh, uh, a policy, we have to be inclusive to women. And people act like they don't see this. They pretend like because nobody wants to be called a sexist. I'll be called one for you. Don't worry about it. So like everyone's trying to sidestep past it. Like, well, I ain't no sexist, but I guess we could do some change some things around here to be more inclusive. To no, there's not enough of you to justify changing anything. Look, if you like gaming so much, then you're already satisfied. Everything you want's already here. You're good. Just play the game. But we don't feel inclusive in the FGC. Like, well, bye. Make your own. You heard that one before, right? The FGC is trying to be inclusive to women. You can't because guys who play video games around that age are just fucking weird. I'm sorry. And you can't tell men to not be what they naturally are. E- Especially when it's in an environment composed of majority men. You want all these guys to just start to act like aliens? They're not going to do it. The more you try to suppress men, the worse they turn out, especially during their uh um you know the, I forgot what they call it. When you're like maturing in your teens or whatever, hormones and shit. Like, stop. Just don't be here. If you can't deal with it, don't be here. You can't force boys to not act like boys when they see things they like. At a point in their life where they're just like, I don't understand these. So my penis is getting hard, and every time I look at her and she plays the games I like, oh boy, it's like it's that stop. Just stop. Go make your own. Make the women's league where nobody will watch. It's like it's just an attention thing. Really, that's what it really is. No one's paying us enough attention. Yeah, we're too busy playing video games. That's another live. But I got working a little bit, so I'm gonna take me a nippity nap, folks. I am your mortal afro, Josh. F in the chat for Helldivers. Lasted 3 months. Oh well, but it's not that big of a loss because there are tons of games out there that exist that you could be playing. Most of it is in your backlog if you're a PC gamer. So don't. This is not a loss. Like it sucks, but all things considered, this is just another day in modern gaming, and another reason why the push away from the current industry model is a requirement. You can't control a medium where people go to relax. That's the biggest thing behind all this. Stop this desire for these companies to control every aspect of our entertainment. Nothing has changed since the Xbox One was announced. Everything they said they wanted to do, they are currently doing. It's the same shit. So and for the people who are just not there for it, stay asleep. We don't need you. Stay over there because like when the new industry is born, and it has nothing to do with Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, Sega, Capcom, all these gay woke ass companies who are just corporate pieces of shit. When that new industry is born and there is all the games built within it have nothing to do with that, that'll be a beautiful, beautiful day. But folks, thank you for stopping by. I'm sorry it's an impromptu stream. Get back on the streaming now that I'm feeling a lot better. I've recovered from my sickness. I am your Immortal Afro Josh. You are watching the Immortal Afro Gaming channel, where gaming is for the boys. Till next time, have a good one. Peace.